These towering two-legged birds of terror are some of my favorite mods across all of Don't Starve, and considering how my first ever YouTube video was on Tallbird farming, it's kind of a shame that it has taken me this dang long to just sit down and give a general rundown on the beasts. But today, we fix that. So we'll discuss their growth cycle, snatch a couple of their coveted blue eggs, and maybe even revisit the Tallbird Fortress set piece to boot. So, let's get to it. Sadly though, unless of course you do get a fortress spawn in your world, these flightless birds are very, very rare. Generally only spawning in groups of 4 to 5, if even that, across the entire world. That being said, they really can only be found on rocky turf. Therefore their spawning locations are quite limited to the Rocky Land biome and or the hodgepodge of the Mosaic, as many sorts of turfs can be found there, of course. And the Mosaic biome is the one with the rock den, if you don't know. But of course, every world generation will vary, obviously, so you may have better luck than others. But let's talk how to take advantage of what you do get. Tallbirds guard their nests with focus, commitment, and sheer will. And while they may not have a pencil to kill you or practically anything that approaches them, they do pack a mean eye butt at 50 damage each hit. They also have 800 health, which is not nothing. And with their speed, you better stick to 2 hits, then skedaddle, or you are taking a wallop. And trying to be sneaky about it won't see you making it out unnoticed either, as Mama Tallbirds can sense danger from what feels like 80 bajillion miles away. You even look at an egg or a nest funny, and you'll be running for your life. Especially if you happen to actually steal the egg, as Tallbirds will chase you down for a long time, folks. Very likely longer than any other mob in the game, including big bads, without additional aggro to happen. They don't take kindly to us snatching up them eggs, and who would have guessed? And you know what? I don't blame them. Cause by golly, Tallbird eggs are amazing little buggers. First of all, while in this raw state, they will never spoil. Ever. So they are basically the best doomsday prep food out there. And yes, that 3 health and 25 hunger is pretty enticing to have just whenever you need it. However, even cooked, we will enjoy nearly 40 hunger, but doing so will actually start the spoilage process, so be mindful there. Also, be very, very aware of your surroundings if you leave these in base and not in storage, because many mobs will actually eat Tallbird eggs off the ground, and even buzzards from above will come down to get some egg, and that's no good. But as far as empty nests go, if alive, a Tallbird will lay another egg eventually. And oh boy, ain't that a sight if you've ever seen it. And when dead, a Tallbird will respawn every 2.5 days of in-game time. So not bad at all. Do note though, that Tallbird eggs will eventually hatch themselves, and depending on the general world goofiness and or timing, you may just see mother and child kind of airing their grievances here. It's an odd yet sad thing to occasionally stumble upon, and it happens so inconsistently as well. You may see it happen with small birds too, which is even worse. And honestly, you might never ever see this at all. But if you do, spring is your best bet. But speaking of bad parenting, we can do a little of that ourselves, as hatching these eggs doesn't just fall on Mama Tallbird. Doing so, though, is quite tedious, as it's a constant balance of keeping the egg warm while not letting it get too hot or too cold, both of which will lead to the egg becoming either wet goop or cooked meat in but 30 seconds. But to make things simple, if the egg is a red, hot, sweaty mess, then get it away from the fire or face the delicious consequences. And on the other hand, if the egg is looking whiter than beard, then get it to the flames as soon as possible. But man, this parenting stuff is hard. Unless, of course, y'all want to raise a pile of goop as your own. Eventually, though, it does pay off, as an adorable small bird will say hello to the world and follow you around as a follower would. And like most followers, they require foodies to survive, and lots of it too, because a small bird needs at least 20 points of hunger a day, and it drains quickly. So thankfully, seeds are all you need. Small birds will attack what we do, and while that's somewhat good for things as small as birds or potentially rabbits, if you can even manage that, I would not expect much out of these little guys. But give them 10 days, however, and my goodness, they'll have a growth spurt. They will still follow you as smallish Tallbirds, but you must stay on top of keeping that now increased hunger pool high, or else they will attempt to murder you if the hunger reaches 0. You know, just like any other child would. They too continue to attack what we attack, and at 600 health and nearly 40 damage, they're pretty darn good attack buddies to have around. That is, until about 18 more days when they finally become an adult, move out of the house, and then want nothing to do with you anymore and really just are hostile every which way to Sunday. But now the real fun begins. Tallbird Fortresses. I have obviously talked about these on a couple of occasions, so today we will just offer the very general gist of it all, but give these 2 videos a watch if you do want to learn more. But oh yeah, you should know that unlike Tallbirds themselves, these set pieces can pretty much spawn anywhere they please because they just make their own rocky turf. Well over a dozen plus Tallbirds will call this set piece home, but not only that, a crap ton of boulders will be waiting to be plundered as well. Clearing this without help though, heck even with help, is very dangerous business. So, enlist some bigger help, why don't ya? Deerclops or Bearger can really make things simpler while earning you tons upon tons of loot along the way, as Bearger and Deerclops will not only clear the Tallbirds, but can help you clear the rocks too. However, all that meats, rocks, and gold ain't your only prize, because with things cleared, we can work towards trapping nests between walls and thus trapping the actual Tallbirds. So congratulations folks, you've just created a Tallbird Fortress farm. Beautiful. You can now just kill them one-on-one with no worries apart from just kiting the beasts. And we can now have access to upwards of 30 to 40 big meat and 15 to 20 eggs every 2.5 days. Glorious. But do know, fire can permanently destroy Tallbird nests, so you gotta be very, very careful. But there you have it, everyone. A rundown on Tallbirds and Don't Starve Together. And as I said at the start, they are some of my favorite mobs ever. And I do hope that some of you have found an appreciation for them today too. So thanks for watching folks, well wishes to all, have fun out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.